Welcome. So today is week 8, and the topic is cybersecurity and network security. It's a very fascinating, very important in this new modern world where AI and a huge amount of data flowing around the world across millions of networks, if not billions, makes it harder and makes it more and more important also, because everywhere the computational infrastructure has penetrated into our organizations, life, and even including government and industries, all industries. So cybersecurity is very, very important, and in fact there is a ton of jobs also. So that's why I wanted to meet with you today. I didn't get the quorum for the class, so I decided to record it and post it. Here it is. So what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is all about keeping your computers, phones, servers, and the internet safe from hackers or misuse. Very simple. And then the outcome of is that it will prevent unauthorized access or criminal use. Okay, making sure that only the right people are getting in and blocking the cyber criminals. It also will assure you that what the information you are keeping it with you about the individuals, consumers or the partners, are secretly protected. The secrecy of that information is protected, and anything other than the owner of that will not have access to it. Including not all employees of an organization will have access to it. Okay, for example, password, right? So, so that's what about confidentiality is. And then it ensures integrity, making sure that information is accurate and hasn't been tampered with while it is moving from one point to another point. And especially with the prelude of deluge of IoT instruments, IoT computing infrastructure, it's very easy to get caught up with this kind of issues, losing the integrity of the data. And of course, always making sure that the data, available, ensuring availability based on the access credentials to right people with the right information. So that's what cybersecurity means. So protecting computers, phones, servers, and the internet safe so that unauthorized access are eliminated, ensuring confidentiality of the information, ensuring the integrity of the information, ensuring availability of the information. So, as usual, we will be talking about, we'll continue to talk about, describe the main categories and principles of cybersecurity. We will define the roles of security officers and personnel, investigate the automation and technology related to compliance and oversight tools, very, very important, and summarize legislation and trends in the area of cybersecurity, and finally list the key components of any cybersecurity or network security platform. Okay, and the activities for this week are the following. As usual, you will have readings and videos. A modulate discussion board also has a very interesting question this time, and as well as a global data breach that is due. It's not May 25th, but it is the next week. Okay, so the date is not correct in this presentation. I will correct that and mention it when I post the video. Okay, and then of course data week 8 Zoom quiz. Okay, the required readings are Rob Sauber's 2022 published 166 cybersecurity statistics and trends, updated in 2022 again. Okay, on July 8th this year, July 8th, 2022. McKinsey and Company published perspectives on transforming cybersecurity in March 2019. It's a quintessential article, and also the risk-based approach to cybersecurity. McKinsey Company published another one in 2019, as well as 4 ways to future-proof against deep fakes in 2024 and beyond by Anne-Marie Collard, World Economic Forum. and cybersecurity is a social issue. Here is how we get young people to follow, the security by World Economic Forum. Okay. The additional the case studies for the week are Russia's war on Ukraine, timeline of cyber attacks, briefing before European Parliament, an article about Internet Impact Brief India CERT in Cybersecurity Direction 2022, Internet Society, and various authors on social cybersecurity and emerging science, computational mathematical organization theory, volume 26. So please read these things. For me, actually, it's an enormous opportunity. Even though it's about really a lot of issues, problems, and so on, I see an enormous opportunity even for jobs. Okay, so read through this one, and I hope you enjoy as much as I enjoyed, reading through this week. For this week's discussion, we have again part 1, part 2 as usual. And part 1 is about, imagine you are sitting in a client meeting and one of your client executives asks the following question: our company currently has no formal cybersecurity framework in place. What do you consider the critical components of a best practices cybersecurity framework? Assume the role of a strategy consultant and provide a substantive answer for the client. 250 words or 10 sentences worth up to 7 points. In part 2, they assume the role of the client and respond to one or more of your colleagues' posts. Okay, that's worth 3 points. The required video is from actually Palo Alto. The speaker is Lee Claridge, is the chief product officer at Palo Alto Networks. He states that the cybersecurity industry is suffering from too many vendors, tools, and alerts, which leads to manual overload and increases the vulnerability to automated attacks. So attackers are winning in general. So Palo Alto has come out with a certain framework to make sure that the cybersecurity is handled well, and that's why Palo Alto has been very successful for the last four years. And the Palo Alto network focuses on being best in class, integrated, and automated. It has to be built in class. It has to be integrated. I'll talk about it a little bit more about what do we mean by integrated. It has to integrate across people, processes, and the form factors. So we'll talk about a little bit more on that. The company is evolving to its next gen firewall and across 3 pillars, right? Securing the enterprise, best in class, integrated, and automated across 3 pillars: securing the enterprise, the cloud, and the future with data analytics. So again, data analytics becomes very, very important. And the company is evolving its next gen firewall by expanding its form factors and introducing new integrated services like IoT security. Claridge emphasizes also the zero trust philosophy, which means verifying users, devices, and applications with context-based policies and eliminating implied trust. Okay, the problem is, we assume if it comes from certain people, the email or the phone call or the codes, secret codes, and so on, that they are the correct one. But people hack into all those things nowadays. Okay, so the deep fake is too deep. It is very hard to avoid. So you have to start with the principle that I don't trust what I'm getting it. So if that's the case, how do you handle it, right? That's the whole idea. For cloud security, they offer Prisma Cloud to provide comprehensive and integrated security for various cloud applications. The future of cybersecurity is in automation. Again, I keep telling you that one: in automation. And that's where in automation, zero trust and integrated. Okay, automation, zero trust, and integrated is the way. So that's what basically I kind of walked through in the other slide. Problem is, again, I'm repeating here: too much input, too much tools, too much alerts, too much vendors. So too much labor. Threats get more sophisticated. Attacks have evolved. Attackers will always find the weakest link with the use of automation. And organizations spend more, get less in terms of security. So the core principles are being best in class, being tightly integrated, being highly automated. There are 3 foci: securing the enterprise, securing the cloud, and securing the future, emphasizing zero trust. So, cybersecurity, improving cybersecurity discussions within an organization should be consistent and strict, following the integrated, automated zero trust policy. So building trust among stakeholders, between the board and the C-suite, and between the business units and IT org, between the company and vendors, and between the company and government, also included our employees. Across all form factors, that's another thing. It cannot be separated out, singled out. One is more important than the other. So we got to work on all hardware types, traditional physical devices for data centers or remote offices, virtual software-based applications, software-based security for flexibility in deployment, such as in branch offices, and service delivered, security consumed, especially for mobile users. And in turn, what this means is that investing in critical infrastructure, cloud security, backup data in multiple locations, threats due to widespread IoT use, network security, firewalls, antivirus, anti-malware solutions, behavioral analytics to catch sketchy behavior, controlling who has access. Ongoing employee training is very, very fundamental, very important. Safe usage, unauthorized software, creating strong passwords, understanding social engineering and personal device use or not. Okay, there is something called advanced persistent threat. If you are a larger enterprise organization, you may be at risk of an advanced persistent attack. APTs typically affect organization sectors such as national defense, finance, and manufacturing. Their goal is to gain a competitive advantage, edge, steal information or intellectual property, etc., over a longer time period than just a single breach or attack. This is a lot more difficult one, actually. Okay, to gain the confidence, to gain the the credibility of human decisions. Or in the end, zero trust is really making it very valuable, because in the end, especially if the whole database is going to be opened up and so on, various levels of individuals will be coming into play in making a decision, accepting whether there is some request is, whatever the request coming is, accurate or not, relevant or not, useful or not, important or not. APT is the kind of cybersecurity threat that Russia used in the weeks. People build generations nowadays, to hack into systems, not just one day or one attempt. So that's what happened with Russia attacking the Ukraine. They hacked into Ukraine government and infrastructure sites and inserted malware, and increase in these threats, including denial of service attacks, were the early sign that an attack was imminent, leading the US government to issue alerts. So ATP is another variation of hacking. This is the details about that again. So US government has come up with some infrastructure approach to protect the national interests, and it's called the department is called Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, and there are it's all in small letters here, but I encourage you to read through these things. The main purpose is to reduce the likelihood of a damaging cyber intrusion, taking steps to quickly detect a potential intrusion, ensure that the organization is prepared to respond if an intrusion occurs, and maximize the organization's resilience to a destructive cyber incident. So here this interesting slide is actually a copy of the timeline of every day, specific days, what happened in the sustained ATP. Okay, and then here is the wonderful simple slide that it tells you how to minimize the risks of cyber attacks, and it is coming from the US government. Definitely I encourage you to memorize these things. Keep software up to date, use current antivirus software, use strong passwords, change default usernames and passwords, implement multi-factor authentication, authorization, install a firewall, be suspicious of unexpected emails. Okay, very, very important. Just follow these things. We will be fine as individuals as well as organizations. There are two important studies outside in USA. How is China using cyber threats against Taiwan? Chinese operators were already using the internet to launch 200 to 400 million attacks per month. Can you imagine that? Behind the scenes, China's PLA, People's Liberation Army, Strategic Support Force, and its Network Systems Department was acting on. That's what the study says. The goal is to disrupt, Taiwan's critical infrastructure. Anonymous mainland Chinese nationals already poke at Taiwan by mobilizing thousands of social media accounts to condemn domestic policies of the island's ruling Democratic Progressive Party. The goal of the attack is to seek intelligence and find vulnerabilities and to cause turbulence and chaos in its society and decimate the internal security kept by the military and law enforcement organs of the nation and its government functions. Disable first and strike later. So that's a policy that they followed, apparently. Like 2013 B movie Dragon Day, in which China launches a cyber attack against the country, the Taiwan. Aliens in movies such as in which China launched a cyber attack against the invading army. Aliens in movies such as Independence Day use cyber attacks prior to invasion. So US and many other high-tech nations use same tactics or have plans on the books. So this is real. So it has implications for industry also, similar points. Okay, so that's why I feel that this week is a fascinating week. How do you protect your organization? And it's a fascinating science. India and cybersecurity in India. India has created what is called Data Security Council of India. It's a non-profit in India. That's an organization available, industry body on data protection in India, set up by NASSCOM. NASSCOM is a national organization committed to making the cyberspace safe, secure, and trusted by establishing best practices, standards, and initiatives in cybersecurity and privacy. To further its objectives, DSCI engages with governments and other agencies, regulators, industry sectors, industry associations, and think tanks for policy advocacy, thought leadership, capacity building, and outreach activities. So take a look at that article. The nice thing is, we have training in the US, the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Careers and Studies, NICCS, connects government bodies, government employees, students, educators, and industry with cybersecurity resources and training providers throughout the nation. There is a link there also. I just want to define what is meant by a data breach. And a data breach is any incident where confidential or sensitive information has been accessed without permission and misused, right? Obviously. Breaches are the result of a cyber attack. Again, it's connected to cybersecurity, where criminals gain unauthorized access to a computer system or network and steal the private, sensitive, and confidential personal and financial data of the customers or users in the system. The U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, defines a breach as the loss of control, compromise, unauthorized disclosure, unauthorized acquisition, access for an unauthorized purpose, or other unauthorized access to data, whether physical or electronic. So how do breaches occur? There are many ways, attackers use many techniques. The ransomware is one of them. Malware is another one. Third one is phishing and denial of service. These are the four methods. Ransomware means software that gains access to and locks down your vital data. Okay, so it targets enterprises, companies, and businesses. Okay, malware is malicious software that probes and harms your computer. So there is a difference there. So ransomware locks your data, gets into and locks your data. Okay, over. You can't even access it. Malware it will harm your computer. Okay, and phishing is using deceptive practices to gain information, to steal or access private information. Denial of service means cyber attack intended to shut down your service. So please watch out. These are the reasons why you have to be careful about it. And every incoming packet doesn't mean that it's a cyber attack, but it has a potential, and you have to access and make sure that you have to make sure that whatever the request comes and the data packets are getting posted, or not any one of these things. COVID-19 specific data breaches, amounts to something like it targeted, first of all, it targeted remote workers, healthcare workers, and the unemployed. It's a web application breaches. During that time, web application breaches doubled according to Verizon data. More than half of organizations required remote work. Okay, more than half of the organizations require remote work, and 8,000 small businesses were affected by breaches to the Federal Loan Disaster Program, USPIRG data, according to that. Healthcare industry breaches rose from 58% in 2020. Nearly 33,000 unemployment applications were affected by data breaches. So it's very sad to hear that something like $400 billion fraudulently claimed during 2020-2021. Okay, quite a bit of unemployment funds and also special funds that were allocated for COVID-19 compensation to companies and individuals. So this was a message from Blake Hall, CEO of ID.me, a service that tries to prevent this kind of fraud, tells Axios that America has lost $400 billion, close to that, to fraudulent claims. As much as 50% of all unemployment monies might have been stolen. And the sad part is even organization outside the country gained by that. Very, very sad, actually. It's sad that irrespective of who gets it, but it is worse when actually foreign countries gained money from us, from US government. Okay, so data governance in the news is given in this 2 slides. I'm going to the key point here is that with $1, now OpenAI has finalized a major agreement with the US government General Services Administration to provide ChatGPT Enterprise to participating federal agencies for just $1 per agency over the next year, signaling a bold move to outpace rivals like Google and Anthropic. Okay, also, it's similar conversation apparently is going on with Australia, and Google wants you to be a citizen data scientist. That's another article. A company's new fleet of AI agents are designed to turn you into a strategic orchestrator. Are you ready to be the human in the loop? Meta, on the other hand, Meta contractors are saying that they can see Facebook users are sharing private information with their AI chatbots. The other one is, the last one is ChatGPT removes the ability to converse, ability for conversations to be displayed by search engines, has nearly 4,500 conversations indexed by Google. Okay, it is suggested that opting in to share their information did not know what they were getting into. So this is the kind of summary I wanted to share with you and hear out your points of views or any other questions you may have. This is a fascinating week, actually. This is a cat and mouse problem. It's not going to be ever contained, but I hope there are interesting researchers that will come out where how the zero trust is now developed into new opportunity, so that deep fakes are thwarted. Okay, controlled. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice evening. Bye.